Well, hello! Fancy seeing you in my new car. Yes, sirree, Bobby McGee. This is a brand new stallion in the stables. All right, come on. It's not new, you know the drill. I'm not buying a brand new car. It's used. Let somebody else eat that depreciation. On top of that, it's dependable, it's practical, and it should hold its value pretty well because these cars are becoming increasingly rare. It's a VW Sport Wagon. Perfect car for city living. I mean, look at all this space. And yeah, apparently after 2019, they've actually stopped making these cars, but they're still very sought after, so I guess they'll become increasingly rare. So I think this was the perfect decision between, meeting our needs as well as being financially responsible. Plus, since it's used, I don't care as much that somebody by the name of Justine decided to sit and gum and then plant her butt down right here.
Oh, don't shine. Get it out. Get it out. No, don't show people that.
Anyway, so today I'm planning on having a nice chat with somebody and I'm gonna be bringing you along with me. So, let's go. Alright, I'm here a bit early, so while we're waiting, why don't I tell you about what I'm actually doing today. So, about a month ago, I was working out at the gym and this guy comes up to me and introduces himself and tells me that he watches the channel. I thought this was really cool because it's always amazing to meet people in the real world. And so we kept chatting and it turns out that he's actually a really cool dude. His name is Jaden and he wanted to pick my brain a little bit because he's thinking about starting his own YouTube channel. So I thought, you know what, why don't we sit down and have an actual conversation about it. So today I'm meeting up with him and I'm sharing some of my conversation with you guys. Oh, I think he might actually be coming. Better come grab the camera.
Hey dude,
hey,
good to see you.
I have to get used to the YouTube
Yeah, what's going on, man? Good to see you again.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so before we jump into all the YouTube stuff, before we started recording, you told me about the Shark Tank experience you had, or wait, Dragon's Den. It was
Dragon's Den.
Yeah.
Dragon's
so
Den,
you gotta tell everybody what happened because that's crazy. This is crazy.
Okay, so when I was a kid, my dad had a company called Port Sioux. My dad, he's a crazy guy. He's an inventor. He's a musician.
Jazz musician.
And
mathematician, you said too?
And a mathematician.
That's crazy.
A lot to live up to,
Yeah.
So he invented this coin holder back in the day. I was about 12 years old, so it was a while ago. And he invented this coin holder. He had an opportunity to go on Dragon's Den. I met Kevin O'Leary. I met the whole team. And he's pitching.
And what did you say about Kevin?
Kevin, I don't know if I can say this on YouTube, but he's an ass in real life. And he looks at my dad. He's like, "Oh, nice coin holder." My dad's like, "Thank you." He's like, "Well, rich people don't have coins." And at that time, I was like, what an ass. But being a little bit older, I'm like, you definitely had a point. Rich people don't have coins.
Yeah, he's definitely, he's like a straight shooter. Like he's a no BS type of guy for sure. But I mean, come on, like don't say that to like a 12-year-old kid who's on Dragon's Den with his dad. Like, come on, Kevin. I think I have a little bit of a different perspective on like how I have approached my YouTube journey, and this is not to say that my perspective is the right one. There's obviously way more successful people than myself on YouTube. It's just, I think it's about making sure you align your plan and your strategy with what actually resonates with you. So I know really common advice that you'll hear people say about starting a YouTube channel is to just do it. Just jump in, just create your video, like don't worry about it, just start filming, just press record, just do it. Mm-hmm. come from a little bit of a different place.
Okay.
And I think that's because I am much more of like I'm much more of like a toe dipper in real life. Like I'm not a jump in head first guy. I'm like, let's check this out, make sure it's safe
I'm
kind of guy
the same
first.
way, yeah.
So
Cautious.
yeah, I like to like, I think, plan things in advance,
Yeah.
and then as far out in the future as I can try and
Mhm.
plan it at least. And I actually found out that this aligns most closely with like this archetype called an archetype. Called an architect, sorry. An archetype called an archetype. Called the architect. So
Yeah.
apparently there's like these two archetypes that
Mhm.
I guess writers can fall under. And
Okay.
this is actually a phrase that was coined, I think, by George R.R. Martin, the guy who created like Game of Thrones, you know. Let me get the quote from him. Got it on my phone. I just dropped it. Okay, so here's his quote about it. I think there are two types of writers, the architects and the gardeners. The architects plan everything ahead of time, like an architect building a house. They know how many rooms are going to be in the house, what kind of roof they're going to have, where the wires are going to run, what kind of plumbing there's going to be. They have the whole thing designed and blueprinted out before they even nail the first board up. The gardeners dig a hole, drop in a seed, and water it. They kind of know what seed it is. They know if they planted a fantasy seed or a mystery seed or whatever. But as the plant comes up and they water it, they don't know how many branches it's going to have, and they kind of find out as it grows. So George says he's much more of a gardener than an architect. So now
Yeah,
I'm curious, which of these kind of two like broad categories you
Categories
think
am I?
you fall under?
Oh, I am definitely an architect.
Yeah, you're an architect?
I plan. I'm kind of like you, where
Yeah.
I dip my toes in. I see how the environment is. I see what temperature the water is
Yeah.
before I go in for a full dive. So
Yeah.
that's definitely how I am.
Okay, yeah. Okay, that's good, because then I feel like...
We can connect.
yeah, we can connect. I feel like my perspective
Yeah.
then can hopefully help you a little bit.
Jaden has just recently launched his YouTube channel where he'll be exploring the world of marketing, social media, self-improvement, and more. It would mean a lot to him and to me if you could spare some time to subscribe and check it out. Jaden is such a good dude, and this is why I love YouTube so much. The ability to connect with other people like that is just, it's amazing. Anyway, I'm back home now, so let me get set up in the studio and I'll talk more about kind of my thoughts on building a career and doing this. Okay, so first of all, I have to say that even in the short span of time that I've been making videos on here, the relatively short span of time anyway, I've noticed a massive change in terms of how realistic that this can be as a career. There is a massive market here, and there's a ton of new infrastructure being built around it, which brings me to today's sponsorship, a collaboration between two incredible companies, Creative Juice and Epidemic Sound. I'm extremely thankful to have the opportunity to be here, and something I really want to do is to share with you what I learned as I continue to pursue this career, so that it can maybe benefit some of you who are trying to do the same. And so that's why I'm so excited to have partnered with Creative Juice and Epidemic Sound, because I see them as two companies who are greatly enabling creators today. But it turns out I'm not the only one who is excited. The big dog himself, Mr. Beast, is also very excited. In a tweet, he said, "Juice is going to change so much, you guys don't even understand." Genuinely excited. That's because Creative Juice is a platform where they bring the creative world and the financial world together. Imagine this. Okay, so we got your YouTube studio, right? And then we got your bank account. Now, since we're imagining things, let's add a couple zeros to that bank account. We gotta dream big, come on. And then imagine these two things had a baby. Don't imagine them having the baby, just imagine the baby itself.
That's Creative Juice, a platform where you can see all your YouTube analytics, your revenue, your views, your subscribers, all that good stuff. But it goes beyond. Not only can you see your current revenue, but you can also see your future projected revenue. You can see the mix of your content between evergreen and not evergreen content. You can even see rate cards, suggested rate cards for sponsorship deals. That's crazy to me. That itself is game changing, because I know when I first started trying to negotiate sponsorship deals on my own, I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea what rates to quote. It's such a wild west in this space. So having something like this, a tool that analyzes your data for you and gives you a guideline as to what actually might be an appropriate rate for you to start negotiations with, that is incredibly helpful. You can even send invoices from the platform. But that's not all. Perhaps what's most exciting about Creative Juice is that you can sign up for a business bank account on their platform. So now you have all your analytics in one place and your business's finances in the exact same place. Now that is game changing. Now you yourself might also be beginning to think, this is pretty game changing. I mean, this is the innovation that we need to see in this creator space, and this is what's going to make it so much less intimidating as a career path for new people who are looking to get into it. And I'm here for this. Now listen to this, because it still doesn't stop there. Creative Juice also has this feature called Juice Boosts, where you can get your money for the month early. You can get it up front. So many of you who have a monetized YouTube channel, you know that YouTube pays you your previous month's revenue. They pay you it out somewhere around the 20th of the next month, right? Well, Creative Juice can see how much YouTube is supposed to pay you based on your data, and they'll pay you that money on the first of the month instead for a small fee. Again, that is crazy. That helps you, especially when you're starting. It just helps you with revenue management, expense management so much more when you can have your money early like that. I mean, no wonder Mr. Beast is so excited about this platform. So definitely check out the link in the description down below to sign up for this business bank account with Creative Juice. And there's actually a little bonus going on right now where if you do sign up for one, you will get $10 as a bonus. Now, an important point to make is that if you are based outside of the United States, you will need a US LLC in order to open up one of these bank accounts. Now, you might be thinking, how the heck do I do that? That sounds really scary and complicated. Well, Creative Juice saw this coming, and since they want to try and make this account as accessible to everyone across the world as possible, they've partnered with a company called StartPack, which will help you get a US LLC. And they have a deal going on right now where there's a partnership between Creative Juice and StartPack where you'll get $100 off the StartPack service. So check that out as well if you're based outside of the United States. So they've really crossed all the T's, dotted all the I's here, and honestly, I couldn't be more excited for them, and I'm just stoked to see where they go. Now, from the clip of the conversation that I had with Jaden and I, you remember we were talking about those two archetypes, right? The gardener and the architect. And the reason I talked with him about that was because I think they play such an important role in how you go about starting and trying to build your channel. As an architect, I planned the entire Cash College brand well in advance before I posted my first video. I worked with my girlfriend Justine to create a holistic brand that combined things like color, typography, music, and my personality into what would ultimately become this living thing, Cash College. But as I said to Jaden, I don't think this is the right approach. In fact, I don't think there is a right approach. There's only the approach that is right for you. Maybe you're kind of like me and you really like planning things out, or maybe you're somebody who likes to kind of figure it out as you go along. Either way, when it comes to the brand that you're trying to create, I think music is one of the most powerful tools that you can use. And the way I like to use music is through Epidemic Sound. Check this out, my very first Cash College intro screen. I used to love these. I thought they were so fun. Here we have color, typography, and finally music, all coming together in a holistic way. Now that sound, which was originally its own thing before, has now become a part of something. Think of a large brand or a large YouTube channel. Do you have a particular piece of music that you associate in your mind with them? Think about somebody like Peter McKinnon, for example. Now, if I played that on my channel, you'd be like, hey, that's Peter's music. But it's not his music. He just made it his own. So whether you're planning on figuring this out in advance or kind of just jumping in and playing around with stuff, I would definitely start to think about how music is going to play into what you want to create, this living, breathing extension of yourself. To do this, I would suggest starting with going to Epidemic Sound's website, and then from there you can find a section where they've divided music by mood. This is a great place to start because you can begin to filter by the feel that you want to create with your content. For me, I knew I wanted something more laid back. I wanted something that was inviting or maybe even a little bit funny because personal finance is an intimidating subject, and the last thing I wanted to do was have an intimidating soundtrack overlaying that. So from there, you can keep drilling down into further categories, and then I'm confident you'll find that one song that just clicks. And when you do, when it's just the right one, oh, it is oh so satisfying. So make sure to check out the link in the description down below for Epidemic Sound, and using that link, you can get a free month-long trial to try it out. And you can rest assured that any music you use during this trial or any time into the future, it will be free from copyright claims because Epidemic Sound owns all of their music, so you don't have to worry about any of that. Okay, I think this has been a pretty long video at this point, so let's end this with a little rapid fire round with my perspective on some of the most common themes that I hear, or common questions that I hear asked about starting a YouTube channel. My personal answer is quality, but that's my personal answer. You're going to have to think about what plays to your own unique strengths. I think quality plays to mine, so that's why I kind of lean in that direction. Now, this might also depend on whether you're an architect or a gardener. Think about it. In the beginning of your channel, targeting is so important. If you were to create a video called My Saturday Afternoon, chances are it would go nowhere. Or maybe, I guess, there's the off chance it could go really viral if you just had an amazing Saturday afternoon. But ideally, you want to target as specific a topic as possible, which leads me to point number 3. Think of YouTube as a series of conversations happening around you, and all the creators in specific niches are the people having these conversations together. So think to yourself, what conversations can I insert myself into, and how can I do it in a respectful and productive way? Definitely do not tear anyone else down if you agree with them. Focus on what you can build instead. When you start out, it may seem like there's a bunch of rules that you need to follow in order to be successful. And especially in the beginning, this may be true. But as you continue to grow a little bit, don't be afraid to experiment. Don't be afraid to break the rules. After all, the most successful people don't follow the trend, they are the trend. Being fully authentic is easily the most scary thing you can do, but also the best thing you can do on your channel for your career and for your happiness. YouTube, in a weird way, is kind of like a journey of self-liberation, and it feels so good. Numbers are important, but your mental health is definitely more important. So remember, make the work the reward, not the view count. That's it. If you stuck to the end, you are awesome. Check out those links, Creative Juice, Epidemic Sound. Go check out Jaden's channel. Give him some love, give him support, tell him I sent you. Bye-bye.